Hello everyone, welcome back to Owen's Treats. Since Valentine's Day is coming up, I thought we'd make a couple Valentine's Day themed desserts. And today we'll be making surprise heart-shaped cakes and cupcakes. So let's get into it. You'll need pre-made 2 8-inch cakes. I had mine in the shape of a heart. I have one red velvet and one devil's food cake. Cupcakes, also in the shapes of hearts. Cream vanilla frosting. And then I have filling of our choice for surprise. So what we first need to do is that we need to level our cakes. So basically for leveling our cakes, we're just going to take a knife, usually one with a serrated blade or edge, and then we go across the top, and then we try to make the cut as clean or as flat as possible. And then we take the top off. We can set that aside, and then we're just going to level each of our cakes. Next step is just really simple. So we're just preparing our filling. So I have sprinkles, and then I have a little bit of peppermint bark. And then just for the filling, you're just trying to prepare it and get enough filling inside of it so you can fill up both cakes and cupcakes. So now that we have all of our ingredients on the inside, we're going to then mix them roughly together. And there we go. Our next step is that we're going to start assembling and getting our cakes finally together. As cakes possible, we need to cut out the inside of all of our cakes. What we're going to do is we're going to roughly cut out either whatever shape you want. I'm going to try for a square just for it's easiest for me. And then we're just going to cut out the middle of our cakes. And then we're going to scoop out our inside. And so now that we have a nice giant middle, we're going to use our rough cutout piece for our last one, and we're just going to roughly cut out the same sort of shape for the next one. And then we're going to start frosting, and we're trying our best not to lift the crumb layer off of our cake so we don't get crumbs in our frosting. And I cannot stress this enough, you'll want a trusted spatula, and we're going to go one way with our spatula, trying not to drag crumbs into our frosting. So we're going one way, and then trying not to touch the surface layer of our cake. I'm just going to go through without dragging to just go through and get the frosting evenly applied to the layer. And so now that we have a nice even layer on, we're then going to take our top layer and we're going to put on top as even as possible. And then we're going to press down to make sure it's evenly applied. We're going to pour in our wonderful filling. And you want to leave about, I want to say a couple inches on top, and you're just leaving enough so we can put a final layer on top of it. So we're going to take back one of our cubes, and we're going to cut it in half. And we're just going to fit the sliver back into place. And so now that that's done, we're going to frost on top, and then we're going to move on to our cupcakes. And so now that we've done, we're going to take our spatula, and we're just going to go across and flatten out our frosting. There we go. And that's our cake frosted and made. We are then going to move on to our cupcake. So for our cupcake, real simple, we're going to cut out a little chunk in the middle, and we're trying not to get it all the way down to the bottom, but just scraping out a middle chunk. We're going to do this to all of our cupcakes. And now that we have our mini cupcakes cut out, we're going to take some of our inside mixture, and we're just going to sprinkle it in. And so now that we have our mixture in, we're going to, like just like last time, we're going to take a tiny piece of our regular cake and we're going to put it on top to conceal our funfettiness, I guess you can say. And so now that we have our cake pieces in, we're just going to press them down as best as possible. And then we're going to take some of our leftover frosting, and we're just going to plop some on top. And then we're we're going to arrange them. And then, for our last little bit, we're going to sprinkle our leftover sprinkles on them. Just to make them look fancy. We're going to pat them down. And we're going to shake any excess off. We can arrange them around our big cake in whatever form we like. And there we go. Thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Owen's Treats. I can't wait to see you guys in the next episode.